Afternoon and welcome to day 4 of legal lockdown mentoring. My name's Daw QC, barrister specialising in serious criminal cases, serious fraud, regulatory law and professional misconduct. These videos are intended to give some help to younger members of the profession, students of all stages, and some young practitioners. It's been great though, because I've had loads of comments back from more senior lawyers who have said that they found them interesting and helpful. 4 or 5 minutes a day, just to try and give you something to think about during lockdown, perhaps some of the things that you might do differently when you get back into a normal swing of practice, because we can all use this time to reflect on perhaps the way that we do our job, the way that we interact with our colleagues and our clients, and our lifestyles. And so today's video is slightly different because it's not an answer to a direct single question, but to a topic that's kind of come up in comments to the videos, and also a number of questions and messages that I've had. And that's about work-life balance or well-being or whatever you want to call it. Because it's a huge issue in the legal profession. We are a profession who tends to work very long hours. We tend to be under enormous time pressure and stress a lot of the time. And there is a prevalence of mental health problems within the profession, alcohol and even drug abuse in the profession. And of course, the work-life balance or general well-being tends to often go out of the window, particularly when we're in the middle of a big case or we're doing a big transaction, depending on the kind of lawyer we are. And even at the junior end, there's huge pressure to work long hours, to stay late. And you know, that's very much part of being a lawyer. So I just thought I'd use this video, given there's a number of people who've asked me about this, to kind of give my take on well-being. And I don't say that because I'm myself necessarily practice what I preach in this regard, certainly not all the time. But I'll look at it a little bit through the perspective of a younger lawyer, perhaps someone who's more junior, because the world's very different. When I started out in the mid-90s, we just worked all the time, and there wasn't, yes, there were opportunities to socialize with colleagues and so on, but pretty much the expectation was to work all the time. So you'd work late nights, you'd start early mornings, you would work most weekends, and often built into the lifestyle was you get the brief on a Friday night, you're expected to prepare a trial and start a trial on a Monday morning, even big trials, which meant that weekends didn't exist and they were wiped out. And of course, as you progress through your career, maybe you have family obligations and you have family life, and it becomes much more difficult to work in that way. So I'm just going to give you my kind of overview of, I think, some of the things that can help. And I'm not pretending I'd stick with these all the time, but one of the most important things of all is to be as healthy as you can be. When I started out in my career, I used to smoke heavily, I did no exercise, and it made being a practicing lawyer much more difficult. And one of the sort of examples that I've kind of in recent years, I'm trying to be a bit healthier, often fail, go through periods where I'm not looking after myself physically or perhaps mentally as well. But one of the examples, high profile example, where we often say we haven't got the time, got no time to exercise. How am I supposed to do that? I've got so much work to do. Barack Obama was president of the United States, and he exercised every day. He kept himself physically very fit. Now, if you can be the president of the United States and keep fit, with all of the obligations on you in that role, then those of us who are kind of mere lawyers in a little bit of legal practice in some backwater country in Europe, we can manage it. We can find the time. So keep yourself fit, keep yourself well, make the time for it. Just there is no other priority, because if you're not fit and well, you won't be able to do your job. Another massively important thing, and again, we all fail from time to time, and you can't be perfect about these things, but give yourself some time off. Give yourself some headspace. If you want to use the Headspace app itself for meditation and use that, absolutely fine. If you just go for a walk, get some fresh air, have days off, have whole days where you don't do any work. And if you're working 40, 50, 60 hours sometimes in the week, take Saturday off. Even if you're going to have to work on Sunday, but have a clean break and take some time out. That's really important for well-being. Connect and keep in touch with your friends and your family and the people that you have non-working relationships with. Ring them up, text them, meet them for a drink, meet them for some food. Keep those relationships going at every stage of your career. Okay, so there's 3 tips, and I've kind of gone over my usual time frame. So look after yourself physically and mentally, take time off, and keep in touch with your friends. All of those things will make you better at doing your job, and they will give you a much calmer and happier lifestyle in the long run. Hope that's helpful, and there'll be another video up tomorrow.